fall camp has come to an end, and you're getting the season started this weekend against Murray High. Tell us about your team.
It's going to be a totally different look than what we had last year. We had not only the number of seniors that played huge roles and even played offensively and defensively last year, but we've got new guys playing in different roles. But we're not necessarily a young team. We're just we have several that are inexperienced. But I feel good about the effort. I feel good about the amount of growth that I've seen over the last couple of months. And I think that's just going to be a process that we'll have to continue through the year. The hope is that, for whoever's up next, that we've come far enough to have success, and then we'll build on it.
Okay. Talk about the offense a little bit. Highlight some of the players there.
Okay. We want to be able to get the ball to, the guys. We have speed, and we have people that we feel like that can, make things happen on the ground. So what we want to do is be able to, emphasize that, and to be, finally create some of that balance that we have been looking for as far as the air and the ground attack. And when you have Jacob Bella coming back as a senior quarterback, then obviously that experience and that leadership is going to be critical. And so we're excited to see what he does as a senior. But we also want to keep his wheels fresher, and so we're going to put that ground load that he took on early on in the season last year, and we're going to, give other guys the opportunity to prove what they're capable of. Cody Orr, Darius Stribling, Sean Ellis is one of our juniors that he's transformed from a lineman last year into a running back, and just a very strong runner. He's worked very hard in the weight room and with his speed. So we're excited about the different ones that we have in the backfield, and then we have the usual guys on the side. We've got Kevin Robertson, who is back, and Robert Franco, and Bryce Yeager is one of our juniors that he showed a lot of grit and determination, sure hands, and is shifty. And so, we've got several guys that we can get the ball to and spread it around.
You think Jacob's made progress at quarterback over last year?
I think that he has made progress just as a whole, as an athlete and a football player. He worked as hard or harder than anybody in the weight room, and so he's got bigger and stronger. And so there are things, mechanically that he still works on as a quarterback, but he's just an athlete and he's a warrior. So, we work through those things. But the natural things that he does and with the ball and in the air, those are the things that we want to try to tailor to. But we're definitely not going to limit him because, sky's the limit.
What can you tell me about the defense?
Defensively, we're kind of getting back to basics. We feel like last year that we may have gotten too complex with some of the coverage and systems and the different, as we're, making shifts and changes and making those calls, game time situations. So we want to just be able to simplify so these guys can just play. And so we have tailored that down to a more simple scheme, I feel like, something that our players can just look and react and play faster. And we've got guys that have the nose for the ball. So we just want to be able to, set up a situation where these guys can, find the ball, just get to it, funnel to them, and make a play.
Who are some of the guys that have looked good on defense so far?
Up front, we've got, Colton Cox has been starting since his freshman year as defensive end, and he's another one that got much bigger and stronger in the weight room this off season. So we're really excited about watching his play over the course of this year, and even with another year to go in his senior year. But as a junior, he's definitely one of the main guys that we have that we'll be dependent upon defensively on our line. We've got a lot of others that we're putting into different situations or different positions, and we feel like we have found those, found the best fits for them, and we feel good about the lineup. But besides Cox, I'd say Norsworthy, who's our will linebacker. He's just a natural, athlete and ball hawk. He's going to find the ball and make the plays. And then I feel good about our secondary, and we continue to change up and kind of gain depth because we've shown that there are several who can, come in and play the role and even switch between corner and safety. So that gives us some flexibility with what we do in the secondary.
Let's talk a little bit about the schedule. You're starting a week later than what we'd anticipated.
Right. In the Ohio County situation, their athletic director or their former athletic director retired, and the switch of coaching. Short story is that the contract was not signed, and although West Kentucky, it was mapped out that they were on our schedule and it seemed to be official, but we found out a little later in the game that Ohio County had actually got a contract with someone else. And so, and I forget who their week 0 opponent was, but then we were, up against the clock and trying to find an opponent. We had several teams that we thought were going to be able to work out. Ends up that we could not get a regular season game, so we were able to get, someone who was in the same situation with us without a week 0 game, and that was Union County, which turns out to be exactly what we needed because they have an outstanding team. It was a great challenge for us. But we were able to pick up that second scrimmage on the Thursday before season started. So although we don't have the actual official game under our belt, we've had 2 very intense scrimmages. We feel like we're ready for this first game.
You have Murray High this weekend, and that's always a hotly contested game. They have a pretty good running back. Other than that, what do you expect out of them?
I expect it to be like any other Callaway and Murray game. The intensity is going to be high, the emotions will be running high, and the atmosphere is going to be outstanding. So you have, you look on our side, and although we have some of the key players from last year returning, we also have some people that will be for the first time playing in vital roles, on turf at Roy Stewart Stadium, and that entire environment can be, it can be overwhelming and just very exciting. So as soon as I feel like whoever is able to get their nerves intact and to be focused, but to ride that emotion in a positive way, I feel like that's going to be might be the tale of the of how the game turns out as far as who starts out the quickest. And like us, I feel like that they have positions. We're seeing some new faces in different positions there. And it's hard to tell. We watched their film against Graves County, and of course we know what Graves County has and the program they have, and so the things that we're looking at on film, we feel like we can match up with them, but we know it's going to be a great challenge, and our guys are hungry to get this first one.
The balance of the schedule is pretty tough.
It is. Some of the games that we would have looked at last year, some of our larger margins of victory, those are teams that did not want to play us again, and contracts weren't signed. There's a 2-year cycle of contracts. So what we were able to do this year, we picked up Metcalfe County, which is a 3-hour drive for us, and Pikeville, which is as far east as we are west, but they're coming to us during the fall break this year. But of course Pikeville is a single-A powerhouse and has been for years. They've lost a lot of seniors over last year, but we know that's going to be a tough schedule. So that plus our district is improving. Each program I feel like is taking steps, and then you have Marshall and Graves and Murray. So that's a very challenging schedule, but I feel like as a program, if we're going to get better, that is something that in the end the big picture is it's going to force us to improve and raise our level of play. So I'm excited about it.
Anything else you'd like to add?
Just want everybody to be sure to come out. I know that they will. I know there will be a sea of red up there at the stadium, and to root these guys on. I feel like first game there's going to be, there will be mistakes and things like that, but this is going to be a team that I think that this school and this community is going to be excited to watch, and we'll just continue to grow over the year.